Have you ever noticed that the kinder you become, the less people seem to value you? You answer every message, you show up every time, you agree even when you disagree, and somehow, instead of earning more respect, you start getting less. People interrupt you more. They cancel plans on you without much guilt. They take you for granted. And the strange part is, you did everything right. You were kind, patient, understanding. So why does it feel like the opposite is happening? Maybe you've experienced this yourself. Maybe someone you cared about slowly stopped appreciating everything you did for them. Friedrich Nietzsche had an answer for this, and it is not what most people expect. Nietzsche believed that respect is not given out of gratitude. It is given based on perceived strength. This sounds harsh, but think about it in real life. When someone sets a boundary, even an uncomfortable one, people tend to respect it. But when someone never sets boundaries, people slowly stop expecting them to. And once someone stops expecting resistance, they stop offering respect, not because they are cruel, but because the human mind naturally adjusts to what it can get away with. Here is something most people never realize. Constant niceness sends an unintentional message. It says, "You don't have to consider my feelings too carefully because I will adjust anyway." It is not said out loud. It is communicated through actions. Through always saying yes, through never pushing back, through absorbing inconvenience so others don't have to. And over time, people start treating that as the default. Most people think respect is earned by sacrifice. Nietzsche believed the opposite. The more you abandon yourself to gain approval, the less valuable you appear, because people don't respect what is endlessly available. Nietzsche talked a lot about the difference between strength and weakness, but he was not talking about muscles or aggression. He was talking about self-respect. He believed that people who constantly shrink themselves to avoid conflict are not actually being kind. They are avoiding something uncomfortable, the risk of disagreement, the risk of disappointing someone, the risk of being disliked. And ironically, that avoidance often leads to the very thing they feared most: being overlooked. We've all met someone like this. Maybe we've even been that person. Let's talk about how this shows up in everyday life. Think about someone who always says yes to extra work. At first, they get praised. They're so dependable. But over time, that dependability quietly becomes an expectation, and the moment they finally say no, people react with surprise, sometimes even frustration, because the pattern was broken. Now think about someone else, someone who occasionally says, "I can't this time," or "That doesn't work for me." At first, it might create a small, awkward moment. But here's what happens next. People recalibrate. They start considering that person's time and energy before asking, because they showed that their time has limits, and limits create value. This is where Nietzsche's philosophy becomes uncomfortable. He believed that many people confuse submission with virtue. They think, if I am agreeable enough, people will love me. But love built on constant agreement is fragile because it depends on you never having needs of your own. And the moment you do, even something small, it can feel like a betrayal to the other person because they were relying on a version of you that never pushed back. So does this mean you should become harsh, cold, difficult? No. Nietzsche was not suggesting that strength means cruelty. He was suggesting something much simpler: respect yourself enough to occasionally inconvenience others, not out of spite, but because your time, your energy, and your preferences actually matter. Here is a simple way to think about it. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you are not just giving away time. You are quietly teaching people how much consideration you require. And if the answer is always none, people will eventually treat you that way. The saddest part isn't that people use you. It's that after years of pleasing everyone, you no longer know what you want yourself. One day, you wake up and realize something strange. The people you sacrificed the most for are not necessarily the people who value you the most. And that realization can change the way you see every relationship in your life. The good news is, patterns can change, not overnight, and not without some discomfort. The first time you say no to someone used to hearing yes, it might feel wrong, but that discomfort is not a sign that you're doing something bad. It is a sign that you are recalibrating a relationship that had become unbalanced. Nietzsche once wrote that the individual has always had to struggle to avoid being overwhelmed by the tribe. In modern terms, that means not letting your identity be defined entirely by what others expect from you. Respect, real respect, is not something you can beg for. It is something that forms when people sense that you have a self that exists independently of their approval. If you've ever felt invisible, even while being kind to everyone around you, this might be why. Not because kindness is wrong, but because kindness without boundaries eventually stops being seen as a choice and starts being seen as an obligation. And obligations rarely get gratitude. This made you think about a relationship in your own life. That thought is worth sitting with. Ancient Psyche, where ancient wisdom meets modern psychology. We'll see you in the next one.